All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts here for another video. I don't anticipate this being a very long one. I'm just getting started on this channel. I wanted to talk about things that nobody else talks about, okay? But it seems all anybody wants to hear about is the Michael Jordan and LeBron stuff. Fine. Well, then why don't we paint the whole picture? Instead of saying, oh, LeBron went to the finals 10 times, 4 rings. Michael Jordan went to the finals 6 times, 6 rings. This guy's got 4 MVPs. This guy's got 5 MVPs. He's got the longevity. This guy's got the scoring titles. Instead of doing all that tit-for-tat stuff, why doesn't anybody ever get into the details? Because the details are there. This isn't just about scoring and MVPs and championships and all that stuff. It's so much more deeper than that, and I don't understand why people don't just want to know everything about this comparison. Not just this comparison, but all players' comparison. Personally, LeBron James has no business even being compared to Michael Jordan for the greatest of all time, because he's not. He's not. He shouldn't even be in this conversation. This is a media-driven narrative for ratings, the hot takes. That's what everybody wants to hear. Fine. LeBron James isn't in my top 5. I'll just get that out of the way right there. When a player decides to team hop, your standard has now been raised. I did the same thing for Shaquille O'Neal. He's not in my top 10. I did the same thing for Wilt Chamberlain. Not all the way his fault, because it wasn't out of free agency, but he basically forced trades. And he went to super teams. He went to a 76ers team that had multiple top 75 players. I mean, one year they were 68-13 and 67, and another year when he was on the Lakers, he played with Elgin Baylor and Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. Well, they were 69-13 to 72 Lakers, another super team. Anyway, I feel like your standard has been raised. So for somebody like these players, they all have 4, and Wilt's got 2 championships. LeBron and Wilt have 4 MVPs. Shaq's I think he's only got 1. You got to do better than that if you're gonna team hop. If you're going to take shortcuts, if you're gonna try to accelerate the process and not do it organically, then yeah, your standard must be raised. People need to do that. You can't just say that, oh, Kevin Durant just moved up a bunch of spots because he joined Golden State, a team that was already a championship caliber team. No, that's not how this works. It's just not. And yeah, I know not all super teams are guaranteed success. I understand that. But you're putting yourself in a lot better position by joining the great players than you are by just staying with the team that you're trying to build. It takes time. A good example I like to use on people is 1983 76ers. Well, the 76ers were in the finals in 82, right? I think they lost in 6 to the Lakers. Well, then they get Moses Malone, and they're unstoppable. I think they were 65-17 in the regular season, 15-1 in the playoffs, swept the Lakers. They couldn't handle the Sixers then. Now, granted, that was only a 1-year run. Dr. J started getting a age on him. Caldwell Jones was out the door. But anyway, I think Tony had some injuries. But anyway, yeah. See, in history, this sort of thing has happened, where you have already a championship caliber team, and then you get a top 5 player in the league join the team. And yeah, you're virtually unbeatable. This isn't exclusive to just Kevin Durant or LeBron James. And like I said, when Houston traded Moses Malone to Philly, they became an unbeatable super team. They had 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on that team. Anyway, what I want to talk about in this particular video is Michael Jordan's competition in his division versus what LeBron James dealt with in his division in the East. And the reason why I feel like this is a very fair comparison, because they both played 15 years in the East total. Okay? Now, Michael Jordan had more teams in his division, especially earlier in his career. LeBron basically had 4 the whole time through. I think the very first his rookie year there was 7 teams. That was before they expanded to 3 divisions. But anyway, so LeBron James, in his 15 years, he had a total of 63 teams in his division in the East. In his East career, from the 2003-2004 through the 2017-2018 season, he had 63 teams in his division. How many 50-win teams do you think were in his division out of 63 teams in his entire East career? Would you believe 8? 8. That comes to 12.6%. That's a fact. Okay? How many teams were at least 500 or better in his division? 33 out of 63. So about 52.3%. So you could say half. All right. Whatever. How many top 75 starters were in his division his entire career? I'm talking about starter, not a guy who plays 5 minutes a game. I'm talking about was a starter. How many top 75 players were in his division from 2004 to 2018? How about 8? How's that number sound? 8. Okay? Michael Jordan, in his 15-year career in the East, he had some more teams. He had 88 teams in his career because he had 5, 6, 7 teams in his division. In his 15 years in the East, from 1985 through 03, minus the 95, the 2000, 2001 seasons, because he retired, Michael Jordan had 25 50-win teams, or 28.4% of the time. That's more than double LeBron's 12.6. 500 or better, 57 of his 88 for 64.7. Again, much stronger than the 52.3 that LeBron was dealing with. How many top 75 players were in Michael Jordan's division? And that means each year. Like if Isaiah Thomas, who was a top 75 player, he had to play him in 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. So you count 1 for each one. Did the same thing for LeBron. 44 top 75 players of Michael Jordan's whole career in his division. Out of 88 teams, 50%. That means half the teams in Michael Jordan's division, his whole career, had a top 70, at least one top 75 player in it. While LeBron had 8 out of 63 for 12.6%, about 1 out of 8 teams. So Michael Jordan is playing that 4 times the clip, more than double the 50-win teams, and about a 25% increase in 500 teams. So having that in your division absolutely affects seeding. And Michael Jordan had to play these teams 6 times from 1985 through 1989. And then he had to play them 5 times from 91 through 95. He played them 5 times each. And then in 02 and 03 also 5 times each. I think 96, 97, 98 only 4 times each. But this affects your seeding. That's why, for example, in 1989, the year before, in 88, the Bulls won 50 games. Michael Jordan had his great historic year, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in scoring and steals and all that. The next year in 89, they actually were 3 games less. They were 50 wins in 88, but only 47 wins in 89. How did they regress? Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, they progressed from the rookie year to their second year. Well, a big reason why is because there was now 3 50-win teams in his division. You had the 57 and 25 Cleveland Cavaliers, the 63 and 19 Detroit Pistons, and then you had, I believe it was 50 and 32, or it might have been 52 and 30 Atlanta Hawks in that division. And I believe Milwaukee was pretty good too. They were, right around 500. In fact, they were above 500. So that's what Michael Jordan was dealing with. Almost the only team that really wasn't great in that year was Indiana, and they had Reggie Miller, a top 75 player. So just talking about top 75 players, you're talking Reggie Miller, Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Dominique Wilkins. Later on, he had Allen Iverson and Paul Pierce in his division for those couple of years. But LeBron James only had 8 top 75 players in his division his entire East career in 15 years. That means there's basically one top 75 player in his division every other year. And the same with the 50-win, 15 years, 8 50-win teams. Every other year, there's one 50-win team. Where Michael Jordan had 25 50-win in 15 years. That's almost 2 every year. So, again, it's no comparison. And Michael Jordan had to play these, he had much tougher players, top 75s, much better teams, over 500, a lot more 50-win teams, and he had to play them a lot more. He had to play these teams 88 times in his 15 years, where LeBron, in his 15 years, only played his division opponents 63 times, and they were much weaker. Okay, so Jordan was playing tougher teams more times. So that's going to wrap up this video. I don't know why anybody never brings this up, because it's important. It affects seeding. You want to know how LeBron James is carrying Cleveland? Because his division was completely weak. He was the best player in the division pretty much every year. There was no competition whatsoever. There wasn't no real rivalry with Cleveland. Think about it. Bulls had rivals with Detroit. They had rivalry with Milwaukee. They had a big rivalry with Cleveland, Indiana. Later on, definitely, they had big division rivals. What division rival did you say LeBron had in his whole East career? I can't even think of one. There was no rivalry. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I got more content to put out there. So hope you guys just keep on watching. I got a lot more to say. Again, I'm talking about things that nobody is talking about. I'd love to put it all together and, I want everybody to have all the facts. I want you to be well armed when you're in these debates and you say, what about this? What about this? I've done all the research. I got everything in front of me. Looked at this thing from every angle. So anyway, like I said, I got a lot more to come, and until next time,